I want you to think about something for a moment. If you really want your children to communicate well with you, with others, calmly, clearly, emotionally, then the first step is not to teach them. The first step is to look at yourself. Because if you think about it, a child's first classroom is not school, it is home. And they are always learning, not from what you tell them, but from how you are. You cannot expect a child to speak calmly if they are constantly hearing anger. You cannot expect them to express respectfully if they are being corrected through shouting. Because children don't just listen to words, they absorb tone, reactions, energy. They are watching everything around them. And whatever they see repeatedly, it becomes normal for them. Now, many times what happens is parents try to get things done quickly. They raise their voice, they get strict, and yes, it works. The child listens, the work gets done. But the real question is, what is the child learning in that moment? They are not just learning to complete a task. They are learning that pressure, control, or loudness is the way to get things done. And this pattern doesn't stay in childhood. It quietly moves with them into friendships, into workplaces, into their own relationships, unless someone consciously breaks it. Now, here is another important layer. You might have seen people who are doing well in their life, studying, working, achieving goals, but still somewhere they struggle in relationships or feel disconnected. One common reason, not the only one, but a significant one is this. They were never really taught how to understand and express what they feel. So it's not that they don't have emotions, it's that they don't have clarity over those emotions. They don't have the language for it. And when you don't have your own words, you start borrowing them from movies, from social media, from others. But borrowed words don't carry real understanding. So instead of expressing, people react. Sometimes they shout, sometimes they shut down, sometimes they avoid, not because they want to, but because they never learned another way. And this is where people misunderstand something. They think communication is something you teach a child like a subject. No, it's not. Yes, guidance matters, conversations matter, but more than anything, environment matters. A child needs a space where they feel safe to speak, safe to be wrong, safe to say, this is what I feel, without fear of being dismissed or shouted at. Because if that space is missing at home, the child starts believing that expression is unsafe. And once that belief is formed, it doesn't stay limited to the home, it goes everywhere. And over time, it becomes a pattern. And patterns shape personality. So if you really think about it, this is not just about communication, it's about awareness. It's about pausing and asking yourself, how do I respond when things don't go my way? Do I listen or do I react? Am I creating fear or creating openness? Because most of what we are doing today, we have learned somewhere from our parents, from our environment. This is not about blame. It's about understanding, because when you understand it, you get a choice to continue the same pattern or to change it. And maybe that change doesn't happen in one day, but it can start in one moment. The moment you become aware. And sometimes breaking a pattern doesn't require something big. It just requires one person to stop, and that person can be you.